Hi everybody, this is Lauren of planmoshplan. I have a slightly different video today that I wanted to share. For when I'm live, hi, I'm not doing a voiceover. I wanted to talk a little bit about how I actually plan. Normally the videos that you see are me rewind planning in my Erin Condren, and it's just kind of all creative and like it's a hobby kind of like memory dump, just kind of more of a journaling activity for me than anything else. But I wanted to show you how I actually keep myself organized. I have 3 different planners and I work out of all of them. This is my memory planner that you guys see in my videos, the Erin Condren, but I have 2 other planners that I use every day too, and I'll jump into how I use them, but for me, it's really important that I have these other planners that are entirely functional and not at all like really decorative. I have to stay super organized because I'm the type of person naturally that is a total mess. Like if you ask anybody who knows me really well in person, they'd be like, yeah, Lauren is can't remember, like isn't great at remembering, like plan dates and times and things like that. Like that's just not me. My mom always said when I was growing up I wouldn't remember my head if it wasn't attached to my shoulders, like, or my neck, whatever. Like that's just who I am as a person. But as I've like grown older and grown up, I've really utilized like paper planners to help myself stay really super organized, and I have nailed down a system that works really well for me, so I thought I'd share. Okay, with that intro done, I'm gonna get into what I actually do. So, and what I actually have. I have a simplified planner in the kind of like, had a coffee spill, in the hourly format, and this is the one that I use for work, so I'll get to that. This is my Erin Condren that you guys see me planning. I did a spread on this, and this is the memory planner, so you already know how I use this one pretty much. And then this is the most important one. This is my plum paper planner. I've had a plum paper planner for years and years. I love them. I think they are really amazing planners, and this is kind of the most important one. So I'm gonna jump into, let's see, this week in December. Okay, so sorry that this bar is showing. Also, I just don't have a great tripod setup that I can show like a whole planner spread. But okay, this is the week that I am in right now for December. It is currently Tuesday, December 11th, and this is kind of what my planner looks like. So I'm gonna flip over like this and zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I have the vertical plum paper planner that is the section one. So you can either customize these sections or leave them blank. I left them blank just because although I keep the sections really consistent every week, there are some weeks where I'm like, I am on vacation this week and I'm just using this to write down memories and stuff or whatever, so I don't need like a work column or something like that. Anyways, it has 7 sections, and you can either customize them or write them in yourself like I do. And then I break up my days. I have a today section on top. I have a work section. I have 2 to-do list sections. I have a section for appointments. I have a section for social events, and then I have a section where I track things. And that is kind of the layout that everything gets put in that way. And then you can also see I do some color coding, so I'll talk a little bit more about what the color coding means. But so that's just kind of like the general layout. I keep tasks on the side that are just like stuff that needs to get done this week, and that's not necessarily like it has to get done on the 12th or it has to get done on the 11th. This is just stuff that I'd like to get done this week, or even if it's not stuff that I want to get done this week, it's just stuff that I know I need to get done soon, or it's on my mind at least and I don't want to forget about it, so I put it here. If you look at previous weeks, I don't always check off everything on this list. I most of the time don't, and I just, whenever I'm planning for this week, I move, like this Monday I sit down and I'll move everything that doesn't have a check mark over to this bar. So I'm gonna start with my top section and just kind of like, well, actually, you know what I should actually do is talk about my color coding. So I color code, this pouch comes with me everywhere in my bag. I also have these mild liners at work. I have a set at work and I have a set at home. But these are what I use. They're not mild liners, I think. Are they? No, they're like a Amazon like rip-off brand. I have no idea, but I color code everything in my planner, and these are the colors that I use. So pink is things that are important. This is kind of like a general, just like things that don't necessarily fit into one of my other colors. They're just like important, don't forget it, is pink. Orange is for like coming and going, is what I think of it in my head. It's like for any sort of traveling or anytime myself or someone else is somewhere that they aren't normally. So like I'll mark, like for here, I marked working from home, and I highlighted that in orange because I'm working from home for these couple days. This one, someone on my team was on PTO, so that is highlighted in orange. If Steven is traveling somewhere, I'll put those dates in orange, or if someone's going to be in town, like doesn't normally live here, they're going to be in town, I'll highlight that in orange. Stuff like that, that goes in orange. Yellow is for appointments or anything that is timed, like so I might put a doctor's appointment or a pedicure appointment, I would highlight it in yellow. I might put a call that I'm having with somebody that's not work related, highlighted in yellow. I'll put classes, like my exercise classes, I highlight them in yellow. Anything where like I have to be somewhere at a specific time that's not like a social event, it goes in yellow. Green, I highlight whatever the time is, I highlight any specific times. Like anytime I write down a time in my planner, that goes in this green color. So these are all my meetings right here. You can see I've highlighted the times of my meetings in green. That was like a flywheel class I took yesterday. That time gets highlighted in green. These are calls that I had with florists. These get highlighted, those times get highlighted in green. So that's green. Anything with the time gets, like if there's a 4 p.m. written in my planner, it gets highlighted in green. Blue, I used to have a blue just be kind of a floating color, but when I switched, because I used to do like, if I look back a couple months, I used to use just like regular highlighters. I didn't use these like kind of pretty softer ones. So the blue and the green were like a little bit, these are actually all the soft ones here. This is like the old green. The blue and the green were different, but so like that was a blue, just kind of a floating, like, oh, I remembered I wanted to write Hello August in, and then the times were in green here. But now that I use these kind of, for the past few months I've been using these, I kind of just don't really do anything with the blue. And then purple, the last one, purple is for events. So if I have some sort of like special event, that gets highlighted in purple. So that might be like if I'm going to a party or a wedding or anything that's just kind of like a special out of the norm event, that gets highlighted in purple. The purple and the pink for that kind of switch back and forth, but the pink can be I'll use to like call out literally anything that's important in my planner. So that's my color coding system, and it works really well for me. And then within the color coding system, we kind of jump back into the sections in my planner. So this top section is my today section, and that's going to be for any event or anything that I need to remember that's just a day of thing. So some examples that I have this week, like yesterday my time card was due. I can turn that in at any time on Monday. It isn't time related, so that goes up in the today section. I went to Starbucks yesterday. That was just something that I add in so I can remember it in my memory planner. I didn't plan for that. I just put it in after so I could mark that when I go back and use all the information here to put it into my memory planner in my Erin Condren. I have the working from home, obviously, those are all day long things, so I put like that up in the today section. And then I also have birthdays, stuff like that, you know, all day long things, those go in the today section. So I've also put like bill dues up there, if there's some sort of holiday, all that kind of stuff. If I have a day off, all that kind of stuff goes up in the today section. Next is the work section. I have the entire other working planner that I'll go through next. So this section pretty much gets is just meetings, like just stuff that I want to put in my memory planner, or like something that's a really big deal at work would go here, but like for the most part I just keep it to meetings. Like I have a PTO right there, but I have my whole other planner for work, and then most of the stuff that I need to remember for work I put in my like Google Outlook calendar, or I have project plans that kind of remind me on my computer. So most of that stuff really like I do through stuff that's set up on my work computer, and I don't really need to keep it in here. Next is my to-do section. This kind of gets filled out every morning, what I need to do that day, unless, do I have any examples? No. Sometimes I know that there's stuff I need to do, like if it's Monday, I know I'll need to do something specifically on Friday, I'll add it on Friday, but for the most part, I sit down every morning and like fill out what I need to do this day or what my goals are, and kind of the same thing is where I like anything that didn't get filled in here got moved over here. Anything that didn't get completed here gets moved over here. So, and then like most of the time these things are just like really day-to-day stuff that doesn't like, that I want to do but doesn't really like, it's not super important for the most part. If it is super important, I will like highlight that it needs to get done that day. See if I can find an example. I'll highlight it. Like here's one. I needed to get a flu shot that day while I was at the doctor's office, so that got highlighted. Stuff like that. But for the most part, it's not like that. And this is stuff that like, you know, I don't need to remind myself to like sweep the floor, or like I wash dishes every day. Stuff like that. I don't need to put in here. This is just stuff that I either want to potentially remember for my memory planner, or I think I'm going to have enough time to do it that day. Most of the time that doesn't happen. I'm really bad at judging that. But it's just kind of like goals of like certain things that I might not do every day that I want to get done on these specific days. And then yeah, I think there's a lot more to like be said about how like I do so many things in a day, but and there's a lot to be said about like why something would make my to-do list and why something wouldn't make my to-do list. But I don't know why my brain functions that way. I can like just know that I need to do some stuff and not other stuff. Other stuff needs to get organized here. The only time that I would ever put like every single little thing I need to do in a day down is if it's like a really important day and I have a lot of stuff that needs to get done that day, and some of it's out of the norm. Like a lot of days, the day before I go on a vacation somewhere, or like I'm traveling and I'm packing and I have to remember a ton of stuff that I don't normally have to think about, I would probably make a like to-do list on a separate piece of paper, because I would literally list out every single little thing that I needed to do that day, like including like getting ready and like maybe I have to like wash my hair because I'm gonna go get a blowout or something. Like even that kind of stuff would get put in a to-do list, so I could look at the order of things I need to do. Anyways, that is my to-do list section. My appointment section is pretty self-explanatory. It's just appointments or calls or workout classes, stuff like that. Just anything that I'm like scheduled to go do something at a certain time that's not social and not work related. And then social, it's this you're looking at a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't have anything social filled in obviously for these days. Well, not obviously, I'm kind of a loser, but so I would put social events there. Like this for last week, I went to my dad's birthday dinner. I went to a Friendsgiving. Those were like a Friends Miss. Those are important, so they got highlighted in pink. I could have done them in purple also, but I just did pink. And then I also like just have, you know, all the social stuff I did on Saturday. And then tracking, I track my work hours here. I track what I eat for lunch here, because I try and not I try and eat healthy things for lunch, and I also try to not buy lunch because I work in San Francisco. That lunches are like $15 generally for something healthy, so I try and keep track of that here. And then these two lines at the bottom, these are just kind of like whatever I want to put there. So if I feel like maybe this week I'm like, oh, I really want to whiten my teeth this week, I would track that here. Or maybe I have, like, I'm sick and I have to take medicine or something, I would track that there. Okay, cool. So that is my daily planner and how I keep myself organized. I will move on next to my work planner. Okay, so this is my work planner. It's a Simplified planner by Emily Lay. I love it a lot. It works really well for, oh my god, I'm like in my lights here. Sorry. It works really well for what I need it to function as. I mentioned before that most of my work stuff, like everything really for work for me, is all on my computer. I have like my Outlook calendar that has all of my meetings, and I have project plans that tells me when I need to do certain tasks, and then I also have like I do a lot of stuff just based off of email and whatever. So the majority of what I do every day at work stays on my computer, and what I need to like do to guide myself stays on my computer. This I use just to kind of like keep a running list of kind of like follow-up tasks or tasks that need to happen on certain days in here, because again, like my project plans that I use for all my projects at work, those give me the week that I need to do something. So I'll write things that maybe need to be done on specific days in here. I also like, I'm gonna sound so crazy, but I also have two calendars for two different types of projects that I work on that hang above, like at my desk, that have where I am in those projects, so I can see those visually without having to look at my computer, in addition to this, and that helps me out a lot. And I have a lot of information on those calendars also, and I do those like once a month. I kind of like highlight, I also color code those and highlight those out. But anyways, the point of this planner, I keep meetings and stuff over here, and so this is like one day, this is Monday, July 30th. I just opened a random day, and this is Tuesday, July 31st. So they're each a day. Meetings stay over on the side over here that's numbered. I'll zoom in a little bit so you could see those have the times of day there. So I put my meetings there. I was doing a thing for a while here. You could see like these are highlighted in pink and these are not. I was highlighting, like on my Outlook calendar, I organize any meeting that I'm leading. I color that red if I'm like the host of the meeting. So I was doing that for a while, and here I was like putting calls and meetings that I was hosting or leading in pink, and then just ones that I had to attend in just like, not highlighted, but doing like the pink for ones that I did, that I hosted. But that kind of fell off. I don't really need to do that anymore. That's too much, but I do highlight the time of day that it is. And then these are just kind of follow-up tasks that I need to accomplish. So again, if a task needs to get done on a certain day, I would put it in this kind of task area. And then if there's like some sort of follow-up that I get from like a call that, like I'm on a meeting and then I need to follow up in some way that I don't normally, I would put that here. Stuff like that, stuff that's just kind of out of the usual gets put over in this to-do list on the side. Also, like kind of how I was explaining with my plum paper, if there's just so many things that I need to do in a day where I need to prioritize and just like see everything all laid out, then I would probably like write this whole list out of like everything that I'm trying to get done today, and even like break it down by like project if necessary. And then this bottom part right here, I generally just scribble notes from calls. So like while I'm on, not necessarily meetings, I have a place in my like on my computer where I keep notes from meetings, but for, I was saying, in addition to having to be in a lot of meetings all day, I also have to call a lot of people that are not like timed meetings. They're just like calls I have to make every day. So I kind of will just like scribble notes down here for that. And then I think it's good to say too that I'm not as consistent with this planner. Like I'm like kind of nervous because I don't want to show anything that's too like sensitive to my job, but like here, like Friday, I just didn't fill anything out this Friday. Like it wasn't necessary for me this day. Sometimes I use it and it's really like helpful to me, and then some days it just doesn't. Like again, this Friday I used it like twice. So yeah, it's just a good kind of like place for me to be able to scribble things down while I'm on the phone, or just kind of like map everything out and for my day and have it open next to me, so I'm not kind of like clicking around on my computer looking for a task list. It's just kind of like they're open in front of me. And a lot of times one of my like to-do lists will literally be like a to-do on my to-do list will be like, go do your tasks in your task list, because I can get so like, you know, wrapped up doing calls and emails and monitoring spreadsheets and blah, 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 that, yeah, that's kind of where I just keep myself on track, is just like this notepad that's a planner that I kind of use for to-dos to this side. So that is, I should flip to a better page. There we go. That is my work planner. Okay, so then how do they all fit together? My work planner stays at work. Nothing that you see in this planner ever really gets put into this planner. The only stuff that gets moved over that's work related from this planner into the memory planner is the stuff that I put in the work section right here, which is generally just the meetings and like maybe if there's a big event. So after the week is done and I have like everything completed and it's now the next week that I'm moving on to. So once I'm in, you know, I'm looking at the week of November 12th. Once I'm in the week of November 19th, then I transfer everything over here into the planner that you're familiar with looking at. If you're not new to my channel, if you are new to my channel, hi, hello. But if you're not new to my channel, this is what you're familiar with. So I take everything from here. If it has a check mark, that's how I know that I completed it, and I put it into this planner. And that is kind of full circle how I plan everything in my life, and then how it actually ends up in these videos. So I would love to hear from you guys about your planning process. I'm super interested in it. It took me kind of years and years of trying to figure out what works for me. I was trying to like decorate, and there was like I started with decorating in my plum paper planner, planning ahead and then filling it in, and then I've done a lot, but this is like my happy place, and I am so glad that I found it, and it really works well for me. Just kind of the super functional planning, and then being able to take everything that I did and put it into this really decorative planner as just kind of like a journaling, like brain dump. This is what I did this week, and it's there forever, and it's pretty, and I get to be creative with it. So that's me. But again, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any tips for me, I'd love to hear about it. If you have any questions for me, I'm glad to help answer anything down in the comments down below. So please ask me, and let me know what you do. Do you like plan decoratively like this all the time? Are you more functional? Do you do a like combo of the two, kind of like me? Let me know. But yeah, that's everything. I really appreciate you guys spending some time with me today. And that's all. Bye guys.